Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious. You can join us in broadening our minds on the Nameless Debates Discord via the link below, and even feature here yourself, if you've got what it takes.
About arguing.
Matt, I'll fucking kill your mom.
That's just rude.
Okay, I'll
Let the games begin.
I'll say please.
Okay.
Okay, so what's your stance?
Oh, I told you my stance.
Yeah,
My
but
goals, right?
The others won't read, so...
Okay. So my goal is to agree with the other person if possible, and if that's not possible, then I want to embarrass them for their dogmatism.
Okay.
Why do you want to embarrass them?
Because dogmatism is toxic and it's not productive.
And you think embarrassment is a good way to lead
I
them
think
out of
embarrassment is
dogmatism?
pretty much the only way.
How's that?
Well, if they're not embarrassed about what they're doing, then they're going to continue to do it, because the whole point of dogmatism is that you continue to do what you've done before.
Now, I have a question. So, what if you get to like a point where you both are at a junction where you both don't know where to progress forward? What's the course of action at that point?
I would say that embarrassment actually has an opposite effect.
I don't accept that.
In sync. So,
I would imply they're gonna feel alienated and they're gonna keep to the peers, which just
So
agree with
whenever
their own
someone
views.
believes in dogma, like they think it's a good idea. Like no one holds on to bad ideas, and people are susceptible to bad ideas, thinking they're good. So how can you help someone reestablish their epistemology?
Yeah, and the answer to that
by
is you
the
embarrass
discussion.
them. No.
I'm
If
not
they
sure
don't
there's
accept
something-
the rules of discussion, dude. This
yeah.
is something that I do all the time, and I'm telling you that if the other person is dogmatic in such a way that they don't accept what it would take to get them to concede, then your only choice is to demonstrate that they're being silly and then sort of make a joke out of
I
it.
would disagree.
Let's hear it.
Well, if you go on with the embarrassment route, you're basically inciting that your ideology is superior, and no one
No,
wants
I
to.
don't agree. I don't
Then?
accept that.
But that doesn't really matter in that case.
Listen, the embarrassment is about you being stupid, not about me being right. I don't have to think that my opinion is right to
How
know that
could you
yours is
tell a
wrong.
stupid person he's stupid? He
But
won't-
exactly, it's easy. You don't tell them directly. You demonstrate their stupidity to other people and let the social pressure deal with it.
Isn't that toxic?
No, not in my
Yeah,
opinion. It's
I
less
don't
toxic than
think-
letting the dogmatic person petrify.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree to that.
But
Like
the
I'm
evidence,
trying to help them. I'm
the
trying to
evidence
help them.
shows the contrary, I believe.
I don't.
If you look
Evidence?
if you look at the voting, for example, in the last couple of years, the political left has done excessive alienation and
No, I don't think
master
that's the
suppression
same.
techniques.
I don't think that's the same.
Oh, I think that has a lot to do with it. That's why people go and vote for these extremist parties.
That's
sorry.
not why.
Okay, so what's the best way to reestablish someone?
Hold on. I want to just say a couple of things. So, like, first of all, isn't there a difference between putting social pressure on somebody and like doing it in an unproductive way?
Of course.
Aren't there two distinct things about that? So you have the social pressure, and then there's ways to do social pressure, and so some ways are better than others. So that's the first point. The second point is directed at In Sync, and it's a question. So the question is, what if in the dialogue, right? What if you cannot figure out what you believe at that time, and neither can the other person? So what would you say that your behavioral patterns are at that point? At least what you strive for.
Asking questions.
Yeah, but but embarrassing him, aren't you not inclining him to not listen to you anymore?
No,
Or
not
just
necessarily. See, the key is you embarrass them and then treat them fairly next time you talk to them. Okay, because I'm only embarrassing you insofar as you are embarrassing yourself. If I'm talking to you, I'm reasoning with you, and you don't cooperate with me, right? And the way that you act shows me that you're committed to what you think and you're unwilling to waver. I'm justified in having a bit of a laugh at you because you are actually a bit of a joke if you act like that.
May I make
Oh, yeah,
a
sure.
interjection into
But
that?
it doesn't. I don't think that will help the other person.
Well,
at all.
here's my experience. My
It
experience
will-
is
it will help.
that as long
May I make
as
an
the other
interjection before you
person,
get too far off?
as long as the other person sees that you are reasonable in other contexts, then it does help because they say what everyone always says is, okay, maybe other people are teasing me because they're all fucking dickheads, or maybe I'm doing something that deserves to be teased, and maybe I should have a look at my behavior and change it.
It could be true. But say if you continue with the ridicule and
But how will
shaming.
you deal with how will you deal with presupposers? Like
Exactly
you
the
can't
same way. That's exactly how I deal with them.
Can we ban anybody who says presupposition again?
Nah, dude.
No, but I do have a serious interjection into that because
Wait, like, okay, hold on. I think we're being very unfair here. There's a big difference. My people, between presuppositions and presuppositional apologetics.
But
I know,
presuppositionalism in general.
it just gives me like PTSD, and I think of Darth Dawkins, so it hurts me.
I've got uploaded debates with Darth Dawkins on the server, man.
I'm aware. But anyways, I think something that we're kind of treating like it's going to always be a reaction, kind of, or it's going to be an equal or
Dawkins,
opposite
like-
transaction. I won't say always, but is the human psyche and the way it reacts to negative.
Dawkins like
encouragement.
hates me because I threatened
Exactly,
to like ban him.
But could you elaborate on how embarrassing someone would get over their cognitive dissonance and
No, I
confirmation
don't think
bias?
that. I don't think that
and
necessarily that it will help somebody get over their.
I think he's talking to
cognitive
me,
dissonance.
Benny.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
well. Oh, is he?
one at a
Okay.
time.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was a
basically,
Wasn't
Terrence,
it-
was it directed at me?
Yeah, it was directed at insulin.
I'm just trying to pull something.
Did you just call me insolent?
Insulin, yeah.
Insulin.
Anyway,
Wait, you mean in sync?
yeah, he means in sync. All right. So you said like, how is the embarrassing? I feel like I just explained this.
Yeah, but
Okay,
how
so-
would you overcome?
You're treating.
how would you overcome
Wait,
someone-
Terrence. I was trying to get at something earlier. You're kind of treating it like embarrassment is going to be the motivator to help somebody get past their dogma. Is that what
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
understanding?
No,
But-
being embarrassed
Yeah.
is something.
It's
that
okay
repulses-
because I don't think that I'm not trying to pull you out on technicality here, and I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do. But so embarrassment might not always react as a motivator to
Yeah,
push someone
but-
past their
But
dogma.
I want
Right?
him. I want.
No, look.
I want.
It may
Insync
not
to
motivate you
elaborate.
positively, but it always motivates you negatively in the sense that you are repulsed. Nobody likes to be embarrassed. Nobody likes
But
other people to
Some
make fun of them.
people.
Insync.
Well, okay, I don't want to go to the some people argument and then pull out a
But
person who
Insync,
gets
Insync,
inspired
could
by
you
getting
elaborate?
embarrassed. But the thing that I'm more interested in is that I think that you build like a little bit more of a what do you call it? A positive motivation in a person's mind when you have listened to their point of view. And then you
Sometimes
say,
that
well, this
doesn't
is the
help.
reason why. Well, yeah, of
Sometimes
course.
that doesn't help.
I have a
And that's what I'm
question.
talking about. Like, I'm explicitly referencing people who are dogmatic. If
Okay,
I've told you 10
alright.
times and you're
You've
not
told me
listening.
that. No,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
No, not
Okay,
you.
I'm just
not
trying-
you. And it's an impersonal you.
Oh,
As in you as in the
Okay,
listener. If
you're
I'm
talking
talking
about
to
me.
someone
okay.
and they're not listening, right? I've told them 10 times and they haven't picked up the point.
I understand.
Then,
But
I have to.
How would you?
I-
Insync. How would you probe into their cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias with
I would
this.
I would use the rule of thumb that people are always using, which goes something like this. If a lot of other people tell me I'm being an idiot, I need to reflect on it. Okay, like
That's not-
most...
But people have their own echo chambers now because
No,
of
dude,
the
that's not the point. The point is, in any situation where you go, where everybody else thinks you're being a dickhead and you think you're not, you're going to leave that situation doubting yourself. That's the goal, is for them
Not
to doubt
everyone.
themselves.
That's not
Yeah, pretty much
necessarily
everyone.
true.
That's not the case for
I don't-
everyone.
How? In what
Because there are
Oh, well,
stupid people.
In
Don't
most
you see?
situations,
No, dude,
in those
dude.
situations, people say with dogmatic beliefs, they tend to stick with their own kind. You know.
No, I know, but I'm
Exactly.
saying like it's an intuitive thing. People understand
It's not
intuitively.
intuitive.
Listen,
not
intuitively. Listen, intuitively, people do understand that if lots of other people are telling them something, they should listen more carefully.
Hey, brother, bringing up an example
Oh.
here. Hold on just 1 second. Let me T-post into that. I'm going to do a T-post here. If somebody's inebriated, you're not going to get through to them. No matter how hard you try to convince them, embarrass them, they will actually go through the embarrassment and run
If
head
they're
on through the
inebriated,
gauntlet.
for sure.
Well, this is an example, right? So after the fact, when they wake up, they're like, wait, what happened? This is like, well, yeah, you argued like on presuppositionalism and you kept saying it had something to do with a goose in the sky. And it's like, oh shit, I don't even remember that. So it's like, I don't know if in every case I don't know if you're addressing
Yeah,
like
but,
the
like-
sober mind or like if you're just addressing like somebody who's incredibly dogmatic. But people that are dogmatic, yeah, like they said, they cling to echo chambers. They're not really that open, and they'll actually fight their point to like the embarrassing fiery end.
I think the whole point of that is that like emphasizing the embarrassment is the only way someone like that is going to learn. And if they're inebriated, if I can tell they're inebriated, then I would probably stop the discussion. I would say it doesn't seem like you're listening. You don't seem to be thinking clearly. Let's talk about it later. But if someone who's not inebriated sticks to their point, even beyond having it demonstrated to them repeatedly that they're not doing the right thing, the only route left is to sort of mock them for being so ridiculous.
Oof. Oh boy. I don't know about that, man.
yes,
No.
meme.
What's
That sounds like
the
it- that
other?
sounds
What's
like-
the other option? Here's the question.
That sounds
okay?
like a very
think
that sounds like a
if
very
reasoning with
gatekeeper. That sounds like a
If
very
reasoning with them,
bro. That sounds like a very gatekeeper
I'm
mentality.
not interested in that. If reasoning with them isn't working, what other options do you have?
You could make them
Seriously, tell me
question
the
their-
Being
answer.
civil with
You
them
can
and
make
trying
them
to
question
switch
No,
the
no,
topic.
I said that isn't working.
Wait,
make them
what's not
question
working?
their axiom.
No,
Okay, say-
so like we're talking about trying to convince them that they should
Yeah.
consider that they might be wrong, right?
And yeah,
So
and in this-
switching the topic is irrelevant. Switching the topic's irrelevant. I'm trying to convince them, right?
Yeah, but if you can't convince them, there's no
No,
point.
but I don't accept that. That's
Continue.
pathetic. If I can't convince them, I'm not
well, if
doing
you can't
a good enough
accept that,
job.
then you're just as
Oh my-
dogmatic as the next person.
I don't
Well,
agree.
yeah.
If
You
I
should try
don't,
That
out
makes you
later-
as
at a later
dogmatic
time.
as the person you're
I
referencing
don't,
in
I
the
don't
argument.
agree. You're not even
Yeah.
listening. The whole
I am
point that
pr-
I
I'm-
made was.
Oh my god!
I don't
dude.
think you are. The whole point that I made was,
He
if
is,
I
actually.
am not convincing them, I'm not doing a good enough job because I'm reasonable, they're reasonable. I should be able to convince them.
If you're right, that is.
Yes, of course,
Or-
But
or-
if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
I'm wrong, then
Or
me
you don't
doing
even
a
have to be
good
right. You
job-
have to be the better
Stop.
debater.
No, if I'm wrong, me doing a good enough job involves me recognizing that I'm wrong when they defeat me in the argument, because that's how it happens.
Okay. Yeah.
But
If
okay,
that's true,
but
then.
the axioms you're claiming, right? In sync, do you believe
Mhm.
smart people can believe in stupid stuff?
Of course.
How do you combat that?
Like I just said, when smart people believe in stupid stuff, I use the intuitive rule of thumb, which
What
is...
about for yourself? How do you
For
know all of your ideas are
I
accurate?
don't. I just check them. I'm really, really careful to make sure that I don't take it for granted that I'm right about stuff, and I check my ideas against the smartest people I know. Like constantly. I'm constantly talking about the way that I think about the world.
Oh, you mean like generally now, or on a philosophical
Well,
plane,
I
or in
would
politics?
No, philosophically.
I would
Okay.
agree with you
But
because
that's like
I think when
there's
it comes to
really
a
no.
debate, obscure neutralism is just really weird. Like you have to have a position in a debate, right?
But then that's mostly personal values and ethics, right?
Yeah, but it's all
So
dynamic.
So
It's
in
not
many
absolute.
cases, you can't really disprove an ethic.
You don't have to disprove it. You just have to show it to be not as effective.
Oh yeah, from a certain point of view, but is it
No,
always?
you just have to recognize the criteria they're using to assert that it's good and demonstrate that something else by the same criteria is better. That's what you have to do.
What if there's a multivariable criteria in the topic? Maybe
Then you
in
figure.
some ways it's good, and in some ways it's not. And then
Yeah, you make a good argument.
You might value the different aspects differently.
Of course, but the answer is that you make a good argument.
Oh yeah.
Like that is what the answer is.
For everything, and
Yes.
maybe you're able to make the argument for 2 of the aspects, but then there's 3 left that you can't make a good argument of.
I mean, can you give me an example? Because I don't believe that such a thing exists.
A multivariable.
Yeah, but
No, dude, I
belief.
understand what a multivariable problem is. Alright? What I'm saying is, any multivariable problem has a solution, even if you don't know what it is. And if you're saying you can come up with an
probably
answer
have multiple
for
solutions.
No, it doesn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it absolutely doesn't.
So you think that are you saying that you believe that
Every
ethic
problem
or
have a solution?
Yes,
even
in principle,
math.
every problem has to have a solution. Yes.
Even math.
What
In
even
principle, yes.
Even mathematical problems
Yes,
can have
in
infinite
principle,
solutions.
yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Any problem has a solution.
No,
so you're saying
that's not
that
true at all.
Yes.
you
That
can
is true.
solve. You're saying that you can find
No.
those solutions.
No, Benny, I didn't
Any
say that.
problem
Okay,
you create or
let me
you
just say
or you
this. In
discover?
mathematics, there are problems which can have infinite solutions.
Dude, I don't think
And
you're
there are-
understanding, alright? There are
Well,
not problems that can have infinite solutions. There are problems for which we are not capable of delineating the solution. They're not the same.
So pi is.
Oh, sure, but that's not of utility.
No, but that is definitively different from what you said.
Okay, sure, I accept that. But that doesn't have any utility in.
Trying to find a solution for the human psyche is.
Oh yeah, exactly.
No, but the point that I made is that all problems in principle have solutions, which is true. Even if you can't delineate the solution, even if you can't verify.
Many common problems. Problems have
Benny,
solutions.
shut the fuck up for a second. Shut the fuck up for a second.
Excuse me.
Listen,
Don't.
alright? No, dude, you didn't listen to me. I
Can you
wasn't
not
done
talk
speaking.
over me when I'm trying?
I
to
wasn't done
make a
speaking,
point?
mate. You started to talk. I wasn't done. All right.
All right.
What I was saying was that every problem in principle has a solution, even if you can't figure out what it is. I'm not saying the thing that you thought I said, which is that you can always prove or demonstrate a solution to a problem. I didn't say that. What I said is nothing even close to that. It has nothing to do with subjective perception.
But what
Could you
trying
please provide the mathematical theory for that?
The mathematical theory for what?
For everything having a definite solution.
That's an inductive claim.
Okay, so
it's not mathematically provable. It's inductive.
Oh, it's not. So then how do you know that's true?
It's inductive. I don't know it's true with certainty. It's inductive. Do you know what inductive means?
Actually not.
Oh, okay, so induction is where you make an inference to a general rule.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, from what I've seen, it is a sound inference to say that all problems have solutions in principle, because even if humans cannot figure out what the solution is, the fact that we have come, like the fact that every problem that we've ever like thought of, like over time, even when it's appeared impossible to solve, has turned out to have a solution, shows me that like all problems have their solutions inside them, and even if
So
humans
the
can't figure out
problem,
how to derive them,
problem,
they're
But we're
still
trying
there.
to address if you can find the solution.
Wait,
No,
That's
we're
what I'm
not.
confused
No,
about.
we're not though, Venny. That's the thing, is what I said had nothing to do with whether or not you can find it.
We were talking about the human
he's
psyche, and we were
presupposing a
talking about.
dichotomy though.
Hey, hold on,
Dude, I
hold
didn't
on.
say
Think is
anything
true.
about whether or not you could find it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm sure you
Wait,
probably
wait,
didn't,
wait,
but in
wait,
context
wait,
of the
wait.
Could we just
Terrence, hold
get
on.
back to the core question
Terrence,
here? For
That's what I'm.
example, in
That's
this
what I'm trying to
situation,
do.
Can I
yeah.
interject though? Like
Let's
InSync
hear it,
is
Terrence.
proposing a dichotomy that whenever a problem is created, a space for solution is created as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. There's a
I mean, the
space of
whole
the solution,
idea
right?
of a problem
No.
and
I'm saying like
that there has to
in
be a solution.
principle, there is a solution. Whether or not you know it has no fucking effect on that.
What about the
Listen.
divergence,
If I
for
can
example?
think of a problem, all right,
Mhm.
then by the rules of the domain of the problem, it has a solution. Even if I can't figure out what it is, that doesn't make a difference. Every quadratic equation I can think of has a solution.
That's cool, but we're talking about this in context of
Mm,
people who
listen,
have dogmas.
The point is, I can come up with a problem that I can't solve. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have a solution.
Okay, forgive me if I'm just being an idiot. I'm not seeing a principle that you're trying to outline here, but I'm talking about in context of the original question.
Yeah,
A
I'm
human
talking
with
about
a
the
dogma.
distinction between subjective and objective, though, which is important.
Okay, yes, and I understand, and I see your delineation between those two. I'm not. I don't know what you call it, but anyways, when we're talking to a human with a specific dogma, when you're saying to me that embarrassment is a good encourager for moving past the dogma.
No. Moving away from the dogma.
Okay, moving away from the dogma. That would be a better way to put it. I don't see that to always be the case. Are you saying that you have a specific way of kind of embarrassing or like humiliating them to make not humiliating, but
I'm not saying embarrassing them is always going to work. I'm saying if I come across someone who is otherwise reasonable, who is stuck with a dogma, then I have found that something that does work is embarrassing them, and that other things don't work.
You don't find that at all a little bit kind of, sociopathic or like just kind of weird? Like, I'm just asking that as an honest question.
It's sociopathic assuming that he thinks his epistemology is superior, but if he's just trying to help out someone improve their epistemology, then I think embarrassing them is justifiable.
Well, yeah. Then in the context of if we're trying to help each other improve our epistemology,
that is what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing.
Then I gained new context on the whole thing. I just started out thinking that this was a person that was, say, a dogmatic Christian who was ranting and raving about like our gods, for instance. Dude. If we're both talking about epistemology, we're on that plane, and you're trying to show me as being wrong, then yeah, absolutely.
Specifically, like when it comes to the guy we were talking about, which is Tanzil, like on the YouTube channel, there are like several uploaded debates where I have talked extensively with him about the way that he misunderstands epistemology and the issues that causes for him, and he is dogmatic about whether or not epistemology is even important. And so it's like when you're dogmatic about something like that, the only choice I have is to sort of make fun of you because you're being a bit of a joke, and until you realize that, there's not a lot else I can do.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's serious at all. I've talked to a lot of people who are quote unquote Muslim on Discord, and that guy doesn't come across as being like genuine. He comes off as being really.
Could we get back to the
Angifar, let me put it this way, Angifar, okay? Do you think what Socrates did was not productive?
Which or what he did? He did a lot of
What
stuff.
he did,
right?
what he did. So, like, what I'm talking about is like he would talk to people who thought that they knew, and he would ask
Oh,
them
yeah.
questions that were polite, but that like genuinely exposed how dumb they were, and then without
That's what
saying that they
Eastern
were dumb,
philosophers do.
yeah, well,
Th-
without saying that they were dumb, he would make fun of them, and he did. Like, you can read The Last Days of Socrates.
Yeah.
He's definitely
Yeah.
making fun of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I don't know.
Well,
is there any follow-up
in the
story on
days of
how it
Socrates,
went?
in the days of
But
Socrates,
my
they
point
didn't
is
have
really,
echo chamber.
my point is really.
I think they did though.
Yeah, but not as intense.
My point
yeah,
is
they would have
really.
been probably more intense because those beliefs would have been in raw form and they would have been public to
Yeah, I
like,
would think that they would have been more
I know,
intense.
but yeah, it would have. I think, yeah, I would withdraw my last statement, but like they wouldn't have access to radical echo chambers. No,
I mean, radical echo chambers, those are just places where
I think
people...
what he means. I think what he means is that they wouldn't have access to spaces where the echo chamber format is emphasized, right? Because
okay.
like the internet has a lot of spaces where
They wouldn't find that vacuum.
yeah, only a certain opinion is allowed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, but my point in criticizing these master suppression techniques are that's the thing that the political left often do. They often call out the right, calling them stupid and wretched.
man, the
and
left,
so-
left right
and then-
dichotomy is stupid, bro.
and
Like-
then they often say, "Oh, we won't even talk to you because you are so evil and stupid." And,
Yeah, but I would never say something like that.
okay,
Like,
so
there's a big
that's the
distinction
difference.
between the two.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we just have that sorted out, because the effect of that is that they have become more and more enraged.
For sure. Like,
alienated,
I'm not disagreeing with you that certain tactics along the lines of what I'm doing are like really problematic. But I'm saying, like, in the sense that I'm doing it, I think that it's what would you say? What do you call a cancer that's not bad for you? Malignant. It's benign.
If it's benign, yeah. If it's
I think what I'm doing is benign because I'm trying to embarrass the people who are being dogmatic for their own sake.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like it is kind of like it's akin to like some people will go on witch hunts if they find a belief or a person spouting a belief they don't like. I'm not saying spouting in negative context, but that's the only word I can think of off the top of my head. So if they assimilate, espousing would be better. But I think that if somebody chooses to believe that what NSYNC is telling them is making them stupid and they feel insulted and they go get a group of their friends and they further continue the kind of shouting him down, what they're doing is they're proving the kind of the primitive nature of not being able to move past like their dogma. I know this is all kind of already understood, but it is interesting how those people that have ideas that are more like primitive kind of lean towards groups to shout one person down if they don't like it. So
it's mob mentality. But
absolutely,
I have a question for you guys though. Like, do you think wherever a person is in the left-right spectrum, they're likely to transition to the radical side because of the echo chambers?
No, I don't think that's true.
But they ignore more information from the other side and receive more information.
I think that radical, like people who become radicalized, become that way because they aren't receiving balanced information or they haven't been taught how to discern the information properly. Most people who consider themselves to be reasonable individuals recognize that the radicalism isn't an appropriate stance.
I think it mostly has to do with alienation of them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And we're like,
really... Oh, go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just going to say that's like the essential thing that I agree with you about in terms of the like what was it? The suppression tactics, right? Like definitely some of them are really problematic. For instance, saying you're so unreasonable that I'm not going to talk to you or I'm not going to let you talk. Both of those are really problematic in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So something that's interesting though is the polar opposite to being of the mocking nature is kind of the gaslighting technique where you
Oh
kind
yeah.
of bounce between those poles and you encourage the person, but then you come back to tear them down.
Of course,
Which
yeah.
I think it's really an interesting, like, I don't understand it. I don't understand that entire thing, but I know that I've been guilty
But
of it
it's
at like
yeah,
maybe
it's
once
pretty
or
intense.
twice. Yeah. And so that's how these certain really right-wing that's how these really right-wing echo chambers. So I have to say Adam often, but
It's
have
like
gained such a young
gaslighting
populace
Gaslighting
is
techniques would be a better way to describe it rather than embarrassing someone.
Well, I mean, it depends though, because gaslighting suggests that you're making them think something that isn't true. Like if you're embarrassing someone for
Right.
something that they're actually doing wrong, you're not gaslighting them.
right, but it is a method that's more you have to follow. Like you do encourage them at the start. You'll do nice things for them occasionally, and then you'll come back around and then you'll say, "No, that's stupid. You're an idiot." Da, da, da. And you like basically degrade them. And what that does is it kind of creates a conflict.
Uncertainty for them.
Actually, I don't want to go into the details, but basically, that's why the far right extremists have gained a lot of these younger. Or I think that I postulate that's the reason why they're
Yeah, that would
younger
make sense,
followers.
right? Because if you're looking for respect, then when someone gives you respect, you like attribute more significance to their opinion, and then when they tear you down, you think to yourself, I need to do better so I can get that respect I love.
Right.
Dude, you're resetting the reward system covertly. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
You're treating them like an animal. It's kind of weird.
I
It's
mean,
like
we are animals, though.
neuro-linguistic programming.
But treating somebody as like a lesser, less evolved animal, I think that's.
I don't know. I guess it depends. I think manipulating people is fine as long as you're upfront about it.
I mean,
Damn.
Well,
what
is it
advertisers-
manipulating then?
It is
Yo, that's
manipulating, though. Like, if you
that's
manipulate
what-
an object, what you're doing is you are, like, influencing it. That's all you're doing. That's all manipulation is.
yeah, I could see that pretty much
yeah.
every argument here is to manipulate people in a sense. But
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I would
specifically
probably
the
use
way that
another
I
word for
argue.
it.
No, specifically the way I argue is that I engineer my arguments to be such that you cannot help but agree with me because you are built in such a way that it appeals to the things about you that you can't deny. That is manipulative.
and another thing that I think is important to highlight
Cultural
is
engineer.
yeah, well, not really a cultural engineer because what he's doing is he's just using basic facts that are from what I heard him say earlier, he's organizing facts in his mind from people who he sees as good reliable sources to kind of engineer a better, truer understanding of the universe. And then he's trying to get people to see
But-
along those logical planes that those are okay.
But how do you reason with someone who says the global flooding happened?
Who says
You mean
what, sorry?
Noah's flood, the biblical
Yeah.
account?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do like. I have to start attacking. I have to start going for the validity of the Bible if that's the way I'm going to go. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Insync.
I mean, no, there's an easier one. Archaeological evidence suggests that the flood did not happen.
You know that
Yeah,
they have
but
a
they
whole
don't- they-
center dedicated to like counterintuitive
Yeah, I know.
like
I've
archaeology.
seen a video on it.
I've been there. I've been to the Creation Museum.
Dude, it's
Um,
disgusting.
It's actually kind of neat, but the thing is, like, when you listen to it's you remember
No, it is. It's neat because it's like humans can come up with some pretty amazing stories.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
yeah, but going there, seeing their form of opinion, their stances to counterstance what scientists have claimed, that is very terribly weak. I'm kind of disappointed because I was expecting really good counter arguments. Because I was like, I'm going to take this to the atheists to see what they say.
Yeah, but that's
Point
the
one,
Could
point
we
two,
get
point
back to
three.
something?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
point where a problem has one solution. What about, for example, distribution policy?
No.
Are you
Pardon?
Problem will have a domain of solution. Like
a problem
Yeah.
has one correct solution, and if there are multiple solutions, then there is a description of the multiplicity, which is singular.
Okay, can you explain that to me? That just went over my head.
Yeah. So
The
if there are
description of the-
multiple solutions to a problem, then
Uh-huh.
there is like a formula which describes the scope of valid solutions.
Okay.
And that formula is the thing that's the correct solution.
Mm.
Right? Because like even if there are like even if
So-
there is
But
variance,
what about for
that is
in
correct.
mathematics, say singularities or divergence, for example?
Yeah, what about them? There's only one correct interpretation.
Of a singularity, but what about
divergence
is-
divergence?
Divergence, it diverged to infinity.
No,
Weird.
it didn't diverge to infinity.
We are talking about some deep mathematical concepts now.
Yeah,
Holy
it
shit.
does.
No, it didn't diverge to
can.
infinity. Infinity is
Listen,
not the correct
it's like
word.
this.
Or it
You
can,
know about the convergent series? Like,
oh, yeah, or converge. It's probably the word.
yeah,
No,
Yeah,
convergent
it's the wrong.
series
Yeah.
basically
Converge means to come together.
Yeah, exactly. So and
yeah,
it can
it equals to
it can
1.
approach affinity. For example, if you have a
Yes. Oh wow. No, that's different though. You're saying it approaches an undefined value. That's not approaching infinity.
yes, it can.
No, it isn't. It's approaching an undefined value.
We can have a
There
limit.
are bigger
Mm.
infinite.
Yes, correct.
Infinity
You can't
is
have an
not
infinite
undefined
number
value.
though. Yeah, you can't have an infinite number. It's not possible.
No. So yeah, for example, infinity plus 1 is still infinity.
No, but if
No,
you see
no. You
infinite
cannot
set,
have an infinite number. Okay, what you're talking about is an endless set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
an
but-
infinite number.
An endless set? What is an endless set?
So
Can you
like the way that you can, yeah, the way that we conceive of infinity is like, so you get to the end of your counting and you could continue to count, right?
Okay,
Um,
so
Dude, it's like the number of even numbers and the number of total rational numbers are the same.
No, the
okay.
number
like
of natural
every
numbers and
number.
the number of even
Yeah,
numbers.
natural numbers. Sorry, natural numbers and even numbers are the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
there's
some,
the same. It's the
some
same
problem-
cardinality.
Now,
some
can this
problems
be
does not
used?
have a solution either.
Some problems do not have a solution?
No,
There are
I
also
don't accept that.
there
There
are
are
also
for
problems.
which there are
which
problems
don't
for
have.
which the achievement of a solution isn't reasonable for us. That
Is
doesn't
it-
mean
yeah.
that the problem doesn't have a solution.
Is it fair to say that we probably still don't understand all of the conceptual mechanisms of math yet? Like we're still trying
Yeah,
to kind of
probably.
understand more and more.
Yeah, that's
The same goes with physics. The same goes with
absolutely.
actually, I guess
Probably is the
physicality.
answer.
Everything,
So the
everything
thing-
in our perception, we don't fully understand.
Probably,
Which-
yes.
I mean, saying that there isn't like I think I kind of see what NSYNC is saying, that there might not be in our lifetime a way to solve that problem or a way to
No,
delay
it may
on-
not even be possible from the perspective of subjectivity, but independently
Oh.
of what subjects are capable of, there is a solution.
There's
What
already
about-
a solution. We just haven't found the solution yet, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
What
In
about-
Like with the
principle, there
math
has to be
problem,
a
like
solution.
all the math equations that we have, like we didn't know it until we discovered it, but they were always
Yep.
there before we discovered it.
Exactly. That's correct. And any
so-
math problem you can think of has the solution encoded in the problem.
So
you can
what
say,
about
like,
singularities?
What about them?
Yeah.
What is this?
No, what about them? What's the
Singular-
significance of the question?
A singularity is a given mathematical object which is not defined. So, for
No,
example,
but like,
you can't divide by 0, for example.
yeah, that's not a singularity, dude.
Well,
No, that's not the same thing.
Okay,
Or say
A
if you
singularity,
Yeah,
dude. No. Let's differentiate here, right? A singularity is a concept in physics, which is like we cannot look further than the singularity. As in, there is a value that we can't look past. Yes.
oh yeah,
but-
it's probably true too. But they're all
Stop. An
Okay,
undefined value is not a singularity. It's not.
an undefined value is not a singularity. Okay, so an undefined value is like 0, for instance. That's an undefined value.
No, an undefined value is, for instance,
a
1
singularity.
divides
If you
Sorry,
can't
say that again.
different-
one.
on a sec,
One
hold on a sec.
divides 0.
1 divides. Okay, because you can't divide 0, so that is
Yes.
an undefined value.
Yes,
That
correct.
won't return. Okay, That's why my calculator says that shit.
But it's,
mean, there is
if
a way.
you can't take the derivative out of.
No, you can come
Starting
up with an
point.
answer that shows you why that it's undefined. You can't come up with an answer. Like I've seen an explanation of why it's undefined. It's pretty simple.
So is that a problem without a
Okay.
solution, or is that
No.
just a
No,
is that
that's
a
the-
value without an answer or something?
No, that's the limitation of subjectivity.
Okay.
So it's to do with counting. We can't get the answer because of the way that like your mind works, but there is an answer nonetheless.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's kind of a discontinuity. If you have a line and some point on that line is not defined, so
you
you
think
will have a
that-
gap.
No, it's not. There's a difference between
Oh.
objectively undefined and undefined by subjectivity.
Okay.
So like independent of subjective definition, objectively it is defined. You just can't articulate it.
Objectively.
Okay,
Okay, so
um,
does that mean that good and like our concepts of good and evil and how like we've held those things and they're highly subjective from where we understand them? Does that mean there is a possibility that on a deeper level they could be objective? We just don't understand it. Sorry if that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I was just wondering because
That's actually the position that I hold.
that's one of the positions that I came to not by listening to Jordan Peterson, thank God, but by kind of arriving at the conclusion through thinking about it. But
Yeah, of course. If you look at the roles that I have, you can see that I have moral naturalism at the bottom there.
is that okay? So is moral naturalism, is that what is that opposed? What is that juxtaposed to?
The opposite of moral naturalism would be moral subjectivism
Okay.
or moral relativism.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
So Angifa, did you?
Yeah.
I'm still a bit lost about why exactly embarrassing people who are being dogmatic is bad.
I was mainly referring to what we straightened out earlier about.
Okay, so you were saying like if someone were to use suppression tactics that were like overtly negative
Yeah.
in a consequential
Oh yeah,
sense.
in politics, it's kind of has the opposite effect of what the.
Well, it depends.
so-
like it's
so I
not
think-
just that. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I clarify? Can I kind of like try and take an approach I think in sync that will help kind of Ingvar understand what you're trying to say? Ingvar, I think that we probably mistake, or we might think that embarrassment, in a way, is kind of like us sabotaging the situation by like tripping a person who's being really clumsy. But really, this is in sync, stepping back and saying, "I'm going to let you stumble on your own." But everybody's going to see it. So it's not that NSYNC is directly responsible for the person's. Oh,
yeah, I've understood that.
okay.
I think when we initiated this debate, I thought you had another position than.
Yeah,
the
you know
one
what?
did have.
Did you feel like in
That's
a way
fair.
that his position was kind of the one where you kind of like stick your foot out a little and trip the person for them being
Yeah,
clumsy?
and then
Yeah.
step on them afterwards.
Yeah.
As well.
It does come across. I think it does kind of resonate with us because we want to have empathy for a person who's showing like. Isn't it weird how we empathize for people who are primitive, or like we have primitive tendencies? I don't
I
know
think
about
it's
primitive,
because we support the underdog because we are the underdog, right?
but- right.
Yeah, and mainly it's
I get
it's
that.
better for us as well if we
Yeah,
help
'cause we
people
are
to
the
step into the
underdog.
light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Personifying everything.
Okay, so what was the point of contention then?
So I think we pretty much agree by now.
I swear
think-
we moved on to a different point of contention. Maybe I just didn't track it properly.
I think the other point of contention that Angufar was trying to bring up was that he feels that there are correct me if I'm wrong, Angufar, there are mathematical problems that don't have a solution. But that would, I think what NSYNC is trying to show you is that would necessarily be like saying there is a white without a black. Those things, those concepts can't really, you know what I mean? Like we can't define
Yeah.
white and black if
What
there isn't
about the
one of
hard
them.
problem of consciousness?
Yeah.
What about the hard problem of consciousness, Terence?
But okay, so I think that
you
what I
claim
was
that
really,
there is a solution and we don't know about
okay,
it, right?
yeah, what I was really going for here is that there are mathematical problems which may,
Oh shit.
when you calculate them mathematically, at least they can have maybe two solutions. This is
Of course.
present in matrix algebra very often, and
Dude.
maybe you can have one exact solution and
Did
so
you
on.
did you
But
hear what my contention
Yeah,
with that
I
was?
got what you're saying. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not of any use to us, really, right? When we try to describe something.
I don't
in the
agree
world,
with
for
that.
example.
Where the hell
Knowing
is
that there is a solution in principle is actually quite useful.
But we will never know what it is, right?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't
but
say
that's
we will
not the
never
point.
know. I didn't say we'll never know. I said the point of admitting that there is an answer is that it encourages us to look, even if it seems unlikely that we will be able to find it.
Okay, yeah. I
So
understand.
yeah, you were asking for like something about the hard problem of consciousness, Terence.
Yes.
What about it, dude?
What are your opinions?
My opinions. Well, I mean, I basically think that to be conscious, you have to be aware, and that awareness is an emergent property of physical systems.
So you're on the I think therefore I am team.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Absolutely.
Cool. So how do you think every objective notion, like every notion of objective permanence, breaks down into a subjective framework?
Not at all. The opposite is true.
So you're still
Ska det gå?
so you're in the objective team, and that's
That's correct.
subjective. Okay. Weird dichotomies, but okay. I mean,
How is it weird?
No, not your position, but the dichotomies itself.
Ah, okay, yeah, for sure. I think what I'm saying though is that I think that my phenomenological experience has to be grounded in an objective basis. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here at all.
But what about phenomena such as pain, as opposed to a like pain and heat reception, as opposed to a thermostat?
Yeah, I mean that's just a different way of like sensing it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but can you do you think you can explain away anything and
Yes.
but not have a conclusion to it?
No, that's not what I said. I do have a conclusion to it.
What?
I told you, like consciousness is an emergent property of physical systems. Like it's a consequence of the mechanics.
Physical systems or organic chemistry, organic chemical systems?
Physical systems. Organic chemical systems come out of physical systems. It's a consequence of the mechanics.
What's your position on predeterminism versus spontaneous
Determinism
Combustion?
is the correct position.
what?
I wouldn't call it predeterminism. It's called determinism.
Okay, so
There is nothing spontaneous.
So you're saying after the decision has been made, it was supposed to be like this?
I'm saying that what like it is predeterminism in the temporal sense, but I'm saying the temporal framework isn't the appropriate one, right? Like it's not that it's predetermined, it's that everything is always determined. It's deterministic. It all collapses to the deterministic mechanics.
Can you somehow get out of causality?
You
Yeah,
mean
of
like
course.
Gibbs energy?
How?
How do I get out of causality? Is that the question?
Yeah.
With an a priori basis.
Yeah, but that's still claiming axioms at the end of the day.
Yes, but the axioms are not causal.
So acausal axioms,
Correct.
like fucking,
Like what? Sorry.
like God creating the
Like that,
quantum
but better.
fluctuation of the Big Bang.
Like that, but better, technically.
Okay.
But yes, that's in the ballpark. It is similar to that, yeah. Like there are like some assumptions that I'm making that I think are necessarily true, and so they are outside of causality.
Valid to an extent.
Yeah, I mean it's valid to the extent that my reasoning holds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. I accept that.
Do you think the whole domain of knowledge is encompassed in linguistics, or do you think there's more to find out about the domain of knowledge beyond linguistics?
I think that the latter must be true, but that linguistics is the mode that we like articulate the knowledge using. So, like, there are definitely other, like, knowledge is like a multifaceted phenomenon. You know what I mean? But in
Yeah.
terms of like what we can say we know, it's absolutely the case that everything that we can say we know is articulated through language.
Okay. How would you imagine the evolution of language? And to go further, like how would you imagine the bioengineering of another organ into the human system to communicate?
So the evolution of language was the first one.
Yeah.
I think realistically, that like it was a natural evolution, like it emerges over time. I don't know what caused the like actual verbal
Origins of
reflexive
language.
structure. Yeah, well, I don't know what caused the reflexive structure to start. I think that the stoned ape theory is in the idea that our ancestors
Yeah.
came across psychedelics or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not that out there. That's believable, you know.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like actually developing the rest of it, I think as soon as you have the first piece of language, everything else follows.
Okay.
Like as soon as you can use verbal cues to refer to objects,
Yeah,
that sophisticates over time.
but when we're talking about the evolution of linguistics, I mean, what would happen? Like, what would change? Like, from the signals being small mouth noises to what?
Nothing. There is no change. The change is that the mouth noises are used to refer to objects rather than to relate states.
So you're saying there's gonna be a semantical evolution rather than like a physical alteration
Correct.
of the
Yes, that's
mode of
correct. Yeah,
communication.
it's about reference. What's
What
being
about the
referenced?
second one?
What
Like,
was the second question again? Sorry.
how would you imagine
The
a new
bioengineering of
organ?
another organism. Okay.
Yeah. No, another organ
Another
in the
organ
human system. Yeah, in the
to.
human system used to communicate.
Probably it would be like some kind of telepathy, right?
Yeah, but telepathy is small mouth noises right now. So how would you?
No. But at the like I'm saying, instead of that, we
Oh
would
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
telepathy, like wireless transmission of ideas somehow.
Yeah, but how? What would be the signals?
Technology probably. Like we put a
Yeah,
chip in
but
our head.
what would be the signals?
I'm confused about the question. Binary, probably.
2.4 gigahertz
Well, the
Yeah.
waves. Yeah.
signals are air pressure based.
No,
now.
but I'm saying it wouldn't be air pressure based. I think it would probably be radio wave based.
Electromagnetism.
Yeah, all waves are technically electromagnetism. Yes.
Okay. So it'll have faster bandwidth of information transfer.
Yes, correct.
How fast?
I'm not sure. I couldn't
That's
really
what
estimate.
you have to imagine. That's what you're
Okay,
imagining
let's
right
go
now.
10G. That's my answer.
All right.
Maybe it's infinite.
Don't start the
Oh
infinite
no,
shit
no,
again.
no, not again.
But do you think infinity may be some certain value which we can't comprehend?
No.
It's not. It's
Okay,
not that
so let me
mysterious. Like,
let
there
me
are
try to
sets-
give you the argument as carefully as I can. All right. So numbers are the realm of finitude. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you have an infinite number, then what you have just said is that you have an infinite finitude. Now, we agree that that actually doesn't make sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not possible to have such a thing.
No.
So that's the answer. You can't
That's
have
the
that.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So what we're usually
how
referring
would-
to in math when we say infinity is an endless set.
Yeah, or it depends
yeah,
a
but
bit
one
on
set
what
can be
field.
bigger than another set.
Correct.
Yeah.
There are different levels
Yeah.
of uncountability.
Yeah, in real analysis, it's kind of unbound limit.
No, but the point is that it's unbounded only in one axis, which is why it doesn't count as infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's endless. I agree to that. But it's not boundless.
What if
Like, not in general. Do you know what I mean? Because insofar as it's still a number, it's still bounded by the rules of number.
Yeah, it
Dude,
is.
what if an infinity goes both ways in the integer line? Is it bigger than all natural numbers which are positive?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I mean, bigger. I'm not sure if big is the right word. It is more profoundly uncountable.
Okay.
Like, it's deeper. That's the best way to put it.
What about infinitesimal series?
Yeah, what about an infinitesimal series?
How is that different from
It's endless.
infinite?
Yeah.
It's an endless series. It's different in that, like, that can only be one depth. There is only one depth to that. An infinite series is what we
Dude,
call
is
it.
the
generally.
distance from 1 to 2 bigger than all the natural numbers?
No, that's the same distance.
Why?
Because the whole point of the difference between 1 and 2 is that you have the set of natural numbers again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if you have the set of natural numbers again, then it's exactly the same as the set of natural numbers.
But
That's the same
isn't
distance.
but okay. Okay.
Like, just logically, that would have to be an equivalent distance.
Understand.
Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and join us in the Nameless Debates Discord. We hope to see you there.